This is the biggest challenge that we've got amongst all our machines for moving. Our old hard-inch talent CNC, 3,100 kilos according to the manual, so a bit over 3 tons. And we've got to get some wheels under it. So I have got some skates. I've used these already for a few other things. Pretty heavy duty things, stupidly cheap, made in China, as you can see. Supposed to take 6 tons. So yeah, really pretty heavy duty. Got 4 of those. So all we need to do is to get them underneath the machine in suitable locations so that we can actually wheel the thing about. When it's installed, or how it has been sitting for the past 10 years or so since we've had this, the machine sits on blocks. There's kind of 4 pads in the main casting of the bed of the lathe. It's got jacking screws. Jacking screws just in here that bear down on these blocks. Let's get this block out. A little dimple in the top where the screw sits. So yeah, 4 of those. 2 on the back side here and 2 on the front side. And at first my thought was, well, I'll just use those screws to jack it up, and I can put suitable packing underneath the centre part of the machine. Only that seemed like it was going to take forever, jacking those screws down and packing it out and winding them back, and so got myself a little 5-ton bottle jack, which was very, very good. I was able to lift it under here, under this kind of shelf, and I've got a 50mm box section and some bits of hardboard backing on top to support the base of the machine under there. So what I'm planning to do is I've got some channel section which I'm going to cut so that I can slide under here. And these slots underneath the main frame of the machine are intended so they could be picked up with a big heavy duty forklift, which we don't have, and we can't get in here even if we did have one available. So yeah, we've got this channel section which I'm going to cut a couple of lengths from and slide it under here. So we need to make room. We need to make enough room to get the skate under the channel and underneath the main frame. So this side is nearly high enough. The other side I've got to lift up a bit. Dingy side, bit of an overhang going on here. Look at the shape of the machine. See under there. So bit of lifting to do, and I've got the bottle jack in place. Big chunky piece of wood on top of it, spreading the load because it's bearing on. It's kind of just a lip, a drainage lip inside the machine, but it is actually quite hefty, this part of the casting. It's a reasonable thickness, so yeah, I've used this to jack it up a little bit already. I need to lift it another 20 millimeters. Take up the slack. That's interesting, that's the door of the machine closing, so we're obviously tilting this over. Wow. I think maybe I need to move this jack along a bit. Yeah, we've got a gap under here, nothing here. This needs to be further along. This is going to be more like the centre of gravity, I suppose. We've got the headstock of the machine further along. So yeah, this is clearly not the centre point for the load. Let's drop this down and move it along a bit. This has got to come along here. Let's try that. Oh, come on. Well, they're still very uneven. Gap here, nothing up this end. The floor is very, very odd, not flat. So that's probably what's doing it. I'm hoping that that's high enough. Need a bit of a lift on this side now. Let's have a look. I'm looking for another 20mm here, and I'm just thinking it doesn't look like it's lifted 20mm off of that packing, but of course that's further in, so there's leverages to contend with here. Let's do a little bit more. Extra bit of 5/8 packing in there, looks pretty reasonable. Just let the jack down and see what it's looking like. Right. Hopefully that's enough. That's one of the channel sections in place underneath the bed of the CNC. I've had to clamp a bit of packing to the side of it to stop it moving around in the slot. We had one moment where we were pushing the machine, and because that clamping screw is offset to one side, the channel section was able, without the packing in there, it was able to slide over, and then the screw just kind of poked through to the side of it, and this thing kicked over at an angle. Yeah, and I had to jack it all up and reposition it. But yeah, with those packing pieces clamped in place, that has not got far to go. That pretty much stays where it is. I've used the jacking screws to jack it up. So once the machine was lifted up, packing put in underneath the centre so that we could get the mounting, what would you call them? The blocks that the jacking screws just bear down on. Remove those out of the way, and then put these in. Use the jacking screws to lift the machine up off of the packing that was underneath the middle. Underneath there. A bit of a palaver, but it works okay. So there's one there, and there's the other channel section. I don't know if you can see, I have welded in some little spaces in here so that they locate on top of the swivels on top of the skates to stop them moving sideways. Found in the past that you tend to push something along and the skate would just move sideways. They don't stay in alignment because they can swivel. They will swivel just as you're pushing the thing along. If the load underneath is not even, you can get more drag on one of the rollers, or one pair of rollers, than the other. You know, if this side is touching and that one is not, then it will tend to turn. So you have to really watch that these are pointing in the direction that you want them to point. But yeah, so far it's kind of worked, but this thing is such a bugger to push. We managed to swivel it around from its original position, but actually moving it, we had to resort to using a winch. And this is the last one that we've used so far today, with a bar across the gap of the opening as a brace for pulling the machine along. And these are the skates underneath the channel sections on the other side. Bit closer to the edge on this side, just the way the shape of the bed of the machine is. And the ones at the headstock end up there, there's a heck of a lot of weight on those. Far more weight on those than there is on these ones. And also when you're pushing on this thing along, because there's 4 skates and the floors are not flat, obviously, you will find, or we have found, anybody else who's going to do the same sort of thing will find it also, that you will not get all 4 bearing on the ground at the same point. You quite often find that only 3 of the 4 is really taking all the weight, and the one that's not got much load on it is the one that tends to swivel around. So we can steer these things as we're going along, which we've had to do, obviously, but they can take a bit of a push to turn. You can just put a bar in the handle there and tug it, and I cannot pull that while I'm holding the camera. I can probably kick it around. So yeah, they can turn, obviously, and you need to turn them, and that's how you steer the things into going in the direction that you want it to go. And I'll just see if I can pull this back again, because at the moment we want this to go straight. Getting all 4 pointing in the direction requires to turn how you want it to turn can be a bit of faffing about. There we go. So they're doing the job, but yeah, it don't half take some pushing. What we're doing is we're moving through this hole in a wall here, and we've managed to move the CNC this far, and it's going to be a pretty tight fit to go through this hole in the wall. If I go through the other side, we've had to move the welding table over. So there's the swarf conveyor for the CNC, roughly in position. Next stage, we've got to pull it through this gap. Was toying with the idea of drilling some holes in the floor to put some pegs in. Yeah, I don't know. That would be a way of doing it. Give us something to anchor the winch to. But we may yet be able to. Well, we might try just muscle power. I don't know. 2 people can't move this thing. 4, we might be able to, but otherwise we'll just have to continue winching it. Find things where we can brace bars across, and yeah, we'll get there somehow. Oh.
More your show.
No?
No.
Bloody hell. We've got to try and get a jack under it to just turn a cast around. Well, that was really hard to turn these skates on this floor. Must be a bit more of a grippy floor, I guess. And when you're turning these things, you're just skidding the wheels sideways, so it's you're trying to push them where they don't really want to go. But yeah, I don't know what the answer is to that. Maybe that the wheels would have been better with Teflon tyres rather than whatever they've got on them, polyurethane maybe. But yeah, and also I think when we first moved this from its original position in our shop, our floors are painted and there was also a lot of oil on the floor, so it was fairly well. It wasn't too difficult to turn these where we needed them to go, and push the machine round. The first, just turning it in the right direction was not that difficult, but from then on it was a bit tough going. But it is now pretty much where it needs to be. That is, yeah, that's where it's got to go. So all I need to do now is to drop it down onto its blocks. So that's going to be reverse of the way I got it up in the first place. The jacking screws under there are lifting it up on the channel sections, so I need to put some packing underneath in the middle, wind the screws up so it drops it down onto the packing, and that should enable me to get the skates and the channel sections out from underneath.